12 hours, we will crown a champion. Will it be one of these two? Oz or Soulkey? Spawning in the top left-hand corner, always known as a strong player, but never a champion. Can he break the mold today? From Evil Geniuses, it is Oz! Spawning in the bottom right-hand position. From Woongjin Stars, one of the best Zergs in the world, if not the best himself, it is Soulkey! Huge support for Soulkey in the crowd. Looks like Gateway first is going to be the play out of Oz. He's going to be going for that. Definitely needs to get that early defense up. So, tell me a little bit about some of the Zerg responses to fast gate and base.
It's interesting. Normally, when you go Forge fast expansion, you will see a probe, but Gateway fast expansions, you will not see a probe at all. When that happens, you can kind of go for this very quick hatchery that we see right now. After that, there's a lot of different options. I love this. Soulkey is putting a drone here because he doesn't know exactly if there's a photon cannon rush or not. And from here, this is a standard opening, getting the gas hearse before the pool, but he definitely could have gotten for that third hatchery as you were talking about in the pregame show.
Yeah, this is an extremely cautious opening from Soulkey. He's essentially straight predicting that his opponent wants to be going for a very, very fast gateway first. Pretty bold play from Soulkey, but this isn't just a derp, let me get fast Zergling speed so that way I can get early defense against what I hope he's doing. Yeah. This almost certainly means that Soulkey is going to be going for a fast +1/+1 on his Zerglings.
And this is a common style that we see all the time in Belshir Vestige. Kind of sidesteps that big mid-game attack when a lot of Sentries, Zealots, Immortals, whatever it might be, attacking into the third base. What you do is you're able to prioritize more quality units so you don't have to have such an excess of units and not really be aggressive. Because if you attack, you're always attacking up a ramp or down a narrow hallway. Everything just doesn't look good for Zerg. So a lot of times Protoss, if they're up against regular 3-hatch play, they can just get a lot of units and say, hey, no problem. I can just wait until mid-end game and win the game at that stage, because this map really doesn't feature great Zerg attacking play.
So it looks like we see the Nexus going down. Sentry first is kind of an interesting choice. Normally we see a little bit more aggression out of Oz, like a Zealot Stalker type of play, but this Sentry indicates that he wants to save up to do a more aggressive Warp Gate-based attack. He saves the funds, throws down gateways, and the most common opening we see on this map is the 3 Warp Gates at the front for a total of 4. But not going to be so good against Soulkey, who's already elected to go for the 2-hatch. But look at this, he's building 2 gates in the back of his base.
Interesting. I'm wondering why he does that. So what is going to put in the front? This is obviously just the mind game of his opponent because he has no clue what's back here. And I think Soulkey is going to be a little bit confused. He's like, well, where is your wall? Where are your 2 gateways in the front here? Now the first one, oh my goodness, it's going to be a 5-gate pressure,
Ooh.
Day 9.
This is a very cute play coming out of Oz. As Soulkey, do you think, well, maybe not, oh, there's a sentry at the ramp already. Nope, denied.
Good play, that's a very important deny. Of course, if he sees these 2 gateways, a lot of problems. But wait a minute. Overlord, will just miss the gateway. Oh, gosh. Oh, no, he sees the gateway.
And he sees it. In the nick of time, he spots it, but I don't know if it's going to be in time. Down here on the bottom side, Oz is already going to be up against a wall. Soulkey did, in fact, decide to go for a very swift third after he got this expansion up. This means it is the minimum amount of units to defend. To get your fast third hatch up means a huge extra set of larva, and that larva is not going to be present against 5 gates of aggression. Oz, though, is cutting a lot of corners to pull this off. 31 probes, no probes in the production queue. That means that Oz is more or less needing this attack to succeed.
He did let his third base finish. I think this is just to buy him a little bit of time because he does not want Oz going into the natural base. Right now, Oz just has the ability to crush his opponent as 10 roaches are out on the way. That's going to be the saving grace. So I do believe Oz will be able to get the third base and maybe just recall out of here. The question is, how much economic damage did he do to himself by doing this attack? It looks like he's actually pretty good.
That's a great point to bring up, Andre. This probe needs to react fast. No! Soulkey sweeps into the natural expansion.
Great counter attack so far. There is a single stalker over here, but Soulkey is just overrunning his opponent. The third base did go down. Soulkey doing just such a great job at maintaining.
I mean, this is a very dicey situation right now. Oh, we see a lot of force fields going down just to try to lock out the lanes. Then, I mean, I love the point you bring up, Andre. How much damage did Oz do to himself with this push? It is a 2-base versus 2-base right now with a whole string of roaches approaching on, and those lanes are still in the main base. Oz stuck at 32 probes. Gross.
Oh, more Zerglings going to the natural. He does have a photon overcharge. Can he use it? Will he use it? No, he won't. Sentries get over here and will block this out. And everything is going to stabilize a little bit here for Oz.
Oh,
again.
You thought walking into a sliding glass door hurt. Try a force field. Oz now in prime condition to defend himself. Now that that photon overcharge is up, Soulkey, meanwhile, back home, looks to be going straight into Hydralisks. This is a very smart choice. Hydralisks are relatively cheap on larva. You don't need a lot of queens, don't need a lot of econ to throw out a good 12, 15 of them very quickly. And given that Oz is stuck on gateway tech for a little bit of time, it means that it's an extremely safe move from Soulkey.
The tech for Oz is just so far behind. That's what it comes down to, and he knows this. If he goes into tech right now, he's just assuming the loss. He's just going to try to put pressure on the already high sentry count that he has.
Oh, well, Oz said if at first you don't succeed, try again. 2 more gateways going down in the back of Oz's base. He is going to be supremely aggressive in this spot. And I don't dislike this choice either. Like you said, sentry-based attacks are going to be extremely powerful. And on this map, it's already thrown down, what, 7, 8 in those early stages? Look at the energy on those.
And it's 13 sentries. How do you deal with this as a Zerg in the beginning stages? You just need to overwhelm your opponent. Sentries actually cost a lot of gas, and when you factor that in, that means the stalker count is pretty low in this beginning stage, but he will try to warp in as many stalkers as possible. Again, going for this counterattack. Zealot's being warped in. A nice warp in. And is it going to be enough nice force fields to start things off?
Roach is getting caught way out of position, and that's going to be a bunch of free units for Oz. The amazing force fields. Keep the Hydras away, keep the roaches in, and this is the last thing this Soulkey wanted. He has to replenish those roaches. He lets all of them die, and Overlord floats over. Every little unit counts. We see a ring of stalkers planting down, and it looks like Oz is getting one step closer to that take it to BlizzCon.
Things are looking good, but the Queens do complicate things. They're great tanks. There's still a lot of roaches in this composition, and Zerglings from behind will get swept up. How is Oz going to do this, though? It is still a little bit tricky. I mean, those Hydralisks have some pretty good range, of course, with that Groove Spine upgrade. No counterattack. First force field goes down, and that's the first step. It looks like both these players are a little bit scared to provoke this attack. Time warp
that's
goes down,
a brutal time warp. That's going to slow down all the units on the right flank. Force field's in amazing position, has snatched up the right side. Mothership core's down. I don't know if it matters at this point, but the sentries are in the front lines. The Hydralisks are dealing massive damage to them. Soulkey's roaches must get to the front now. Drones have been pulled at this point. Nothing's really mining at the third for Soulkey either.
Another great force field wall, but Soulkey microing this perfectly, sending the Queens and the Hydras over to the left side. You can't chase them because you're on creep. These force fields will go ahead and collapse. And now Soulkey is starting to stabilize a little bit more, but it still is a hard fight. Drones are off the line. So he's only on 1 base economy. He needs to shut this down, Day9.
All the drones in the middle. An amazing center force field, locking a lot of the Hydras in the back, permitting the drones to walk on through. Happy to have those drones at the front line, Oz. Picks them off one at a time. The drone count has plummeted to 32. It looks like Soulkey's defending, but what has been the cost? What? GG!